Hello, Army. Tonight, before the stadium lights, before the screaming crowds, before the name BTS became a global echo, there was silence. There were doubts. There were empty rooms, cracked mirrors, cheap meals, long bus rides, and moments where quitting felt easier than dreaming. This isn't the polished story you see on award stages. This is the raw rewind. 7 young men who didn't wake up famous, didn't grow up privileged in the idol system, and definitely didn't know their lives were about to collide in one of the most unlikely success stories modern music has ever seen. What did they actually do before the world knew their names? Who were they when no one was watching, no cameras rolling, no fandom cheering? Were they confident, lost, rebellious, ordinary, or already quietly extraordinary? Here's the twist. Some of them were chasing music from the start, but others were walking completely different paths that almost led them away from the stage forever. One trained like a monk, one lived like an underground ghost, one danced like the world was ending even when no one clapped, and one was doing something so unexpected, so off-script, that even today it still surprises people who think they know BTS inside out. And yes, number 3 is the one that hits differently. But don't rush there yet, because every step before fame mattered. Every job, every failure, every small decision quietly shaped the artists you know today. This isn't just about before debut. This is about identity, about survival, about how talent alone isn't enough without obsession, timing, pain, and courage. As we count down, ask yourself this: if fame never came, would these 7 still have become who they are now? Or did the struggle itself build BTS long before the spotlight ever did? Stay with this story. Listen closely, because once you hear what they did before they were famous, you'll never look at their success the same way again. Number 7, Jimin, the actor who never planned to sing, before Jin ever held a microphone in front of millions, before his name was shouted by fans across continents. He was living a life that didn't even orbit around music. Kim Seokjin wasn't grinding in underground studios or auditioning for idol companies as a kid. He was studying acting, seriously studying it. Enrolled at Konkuk University, one of South Korea's most respected schools for arts and film, Jin saw his future on drama sets, not concert stages. He wasn't chasing fame the idol way. He was preparing for cameras, scripts, and characters. His daily life revolved around classes, scene analysis, vocal projection for acting, posture, expressions, and understanding emotion from a cinematic point of view. Singing wasn't his weapon. Dancing wasn't his obsession. His face, his presence, his ability to command attention quietly, that's what people noticed first. And that's exactly how fate found him. Not through an audition hall, but on the street. A big hit scout literally approached him because of his visuals. No rap background, no vocal training, no dance history, just raw presence. And here's the wild part. Jin initially thought it was a scam. He wasn't dreaming of becoming an idol. He wasn't desperate to debut. He was comfortable walking toward a different future. But curiosity cracked the door open, and once he stepped inside Big Hit, reality hit hard. Jin was suddenly surrounded by trainees who had been training for years, who could sing effortlessly, dance like machines, write lyrics in their sleep. And him, he was starting from zero.
No exageras, Jin.
He had to learn everything from scratch while being older than most trainees, constantly questioning if he belonged there at all. This is where Jin's real story begins. Not as worldwide handsome, not as the confident Hyung, but as the quiet struggler who refused to fall behind. While others rested, Jin stayed. While others complained, Jin practiced. His voice cracked endlessly. His body ached from dance routines his muscles weren't used to. There were moments when he felt invisible, moments when he felt like the weakest link. But instead of quitting, he leaned into discipline. Acting taught him endurance, taught him how to observe, how to absorb criticism without breaking. Slowly, painfully, Jin built himself piece by piece. He trained his vocals not to be flashy, but emotional. He learned how to perform sincerity instead of perfection. And that's why, years later, his voice would carry something you can't fake: vulnerability. Before fame, Jin was just a student who said yes to the unexpected. He wasn't born ready for the idol world. He adapted. He survived. And that makes his journey one of the most underestimated transformations in BTS. From an acting student who never planned to sing, to a global performer whose voice now carries comfort for millions, Jin's pre-fame life proves that sometimes destiny doesn't come from chasing dreams, but from having the courage to step into one you never imagined. Number 6, Jimin, the perfectionist who trained like his life depended on. Before Jimin became the emotional center of BTS, before his performances made people feel something deep and unexplainable, he was a kid from Busan carrying an insane amount of pressure on his own shoulders. Park Jimin didn't grow up casually dreaming about being an idol. He was obsessed with dance, not fame, not applause, movement, control, expression. Long before Big Hit, Jimin was already known at Busan High School of Arts as a top student in contemporary dance. Teachers praised his discipline. Classmates whispered about his intensity. He wasn't just good, he was relentless. While others went home, Jimin stayed. While others joked around, Jimin repeated the same move until it felt perfect. His body was his language, and he treated it like a weapon and a diary at the same time. But here's what most people don't realize. Jimin had almost no experience with singing or rapping when he auditioned. He entered Big Hit as a dancer, pure and simple. When he moved to Seoul, reality slapped him hard. Suddenly, dance excellence wasn't enough. He had to sing. He had to keep up with trainees who had been writing lyrics and producing beats for years. And the fear of being eliminated haunted him constantly. Jimin has openly talked about this part of his life. The constant anxiety that he might be cut from the lineup, that he wasn't idol material enough. So he did what only extreme dedication could fix. He trained harder than everyone else. Vocal lessons until his throat burned. Dance practice until sweat soaked the floor. Dieting to unhealthy levels because he believed his body had to look a certain way to survive in the industry. There were days he barely slept. Days he questioned his worth. Days he cried alone because the pressure felt unbearable. But even in that darkness, something powerful was forming. Jimin wasn't just polishing skills, he was shaping empathy. He learned how pain lives in the body, how insecurity changes the way you move. And when he finally debuted, that pain became art. His expressions weren't learned, they were lived. Before fame, Jimin was a perfectionist fighting himself every single day, terrified of failure, obsessed with improvement, and desperate to prove he deserved his place. That's why, when he steps on stage now, there's a quiet intensity in his eyes. It's not just performance, it's memory, it's survival. And that makes his journey one of the most emotionally charged paths into BTS. A reminder that sometimes the softest presence comes from the hardest battles. Number 5, Jungkook, the golden kid who grew up too fast. Before Jungkook became the global symbol of golden magne, before his name was attached to perfection in vocals, dance, visuals, and athleticism, he was just a shy middle school kid from Busan who didn't fully understand how big the world could be. Jungkook wasn't born confident. He wasn't loud. He wasn't chasing the spotlight. His story before fame is actually about being young, uncertain, and suddenly forced to grow up faster than anyone should. At the age of 13, Jungkook auditioned for Superstar K. Not because he believed he would win, but because he loved singing. He didn't make it far, but that single audition changed his life. Multiple entertainment companies contacted him afterward. Big names, big promises, big futures. And yet, he chose Big Hit. Not because it was famous, it wasn't, but because of RM. Jungkook has said that seeing Namjoon rap made him want to follow him. Imagine that. A kid choosing his future based on instinct, not strategy. And then came the real challenge. Moving to Seoul at such a young age meant leaving family, friends, and everything familiar behind. Jungkook barely spoke. He barely looked people in the eye. He was surrounded by older trainees, stronger personalities, louder voices. So he observed.
He absorbed.
He learned by watching. Every hyung became a reference point. He copied their habits, their work ethic, their strengths. Dance? He practiced endlessly. Vocals? He trained until his tone stabilized. Confidence? That came last. One of the most defining moments before debut was when Big Hit sent him to Los Angeles to train with professional dancers. Jungkook was still a teenager, thrown into a completely different culture, forced to adapt fast. That experience sharpened him. It expanded his worldview. It taught him discipline beyond Korean trainee life. But behind the rapid improvement was loneliness. Jungkook has talked about feeling like he didn't have a clear identity back then. He was good at everything, but didn't know who he really was. Before fame, Jungkook wasn't the golden standard yet. He was raw potential shaped by sacrifice, imitation, and quiet determination. He learned adulthood through practice rooms instead of classrooms, childhood through schedules instead of playgrounds. And that's why his growth feels so real to fans. We didn't just watch Jungkook succeed, we watched him grow up. From a timid boy who followed his hyung silently, to an artist who now leads stages with natural authority. His pre-fame life wasn't about being perfect. It was about surviving youth inside a dream that demanded everything, all at once. Number 4, Taehyung, the hidden genius who lived between two worlds, before V became the face that could stop time with a single stare, before his voice turned into one of the most recognizable colors in BTS. Kim Taehyung was living a double life that almost no one knew about. He wasn't supposed to be there. Literally. Taehyung didn't initially audition for Big Hit for himself. He went to support a friend. No plan.
No preparation.
No ambition to become an idol that day. But while waiting, a staff member noticed him and casually suggested he audition too. That one spontaneous decision rewrote his entire life. Before fame, Taehyung grew up in a rural area, surrounded by nature, family, and simplicity. His father was a farmer. His childhood was quiet, grounded, far from the flashy image of K-pop. He learned responsibility early, helping his family, understanding hard work not as an option but as a routine. Music entered his life through jazz and classical influences, not mainstream pop. He played the saxophone. He listened more than he spoke. Taehyung was known for being different, emotionally deep, introspective, sometimes misunderstood. When he became a trainee, he was hidden from the public eye, literally kept secret as the hidden member until close to debut. While other trainees worried about recognition, Taehyung lived in silence, watching everything unfold without being seen. That isolation shaped him. He absorbed atmosphere like a sponge. He studied emotions, expressions, human behavior. Acting came naturally to him, not because he trained for it, but because he observed life closely. Before fame, Taehyung struggled with fitting into the idol mold. His voice was deep in an industry that favored high tones. His personality was unconventional. His way of thinking didn't follow rules. But instead of changing himself, he leaned into it. He trusted his instincts. That decision would later define his artistic identity. His pre-fame life wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, poetic, and slightly lonely. A boy from the countryside who accidentally stepped into an audition, lived unseen as a trainee, and slowly realized that being different wasn't a weakness. It was his power. And that's why V's presence today feels so magnetic. He doesn't perform like someone chasing attention. He performs like someone who understands silence, emotion, and depth, because before fame, that's exactly where he lived. Number 3, Jhope, the street dancer who chose joy as survival, before Jhope became the human energy booster of BTS, before his smile turned into a global symbol of positivity. Jung was living a life that was raw, physical, and deeply rooted in the streets of Gwangju. This is where the story takes an unexpected turn, because unlike the typical idol in training narrative, Hoseok wasn't raised inside practice rooms or vocal academies. He grew up battling concrete floors, loudspeakers, and the unforgiving honesty of street dance culture. Before fame, Jhope was already known locally as a dancer. Not just good, respected. He was part of an underground dance crew called Neuron, competing in street battles, practicing hip-hop until his clothes were soaked, learning rhythm with his entire body, not theory. There were no safety nets here. In street dance, you either move people or you disappear. Hoseok learned confidence the hard way, facing crowds who didn't care who you were, only how you performed. But here's the unique part. While street dance often celebrates aggression and ego, Hoseok's style was different. He danced with brightness, with groove, with an infectious joy that made people stop and smile. That joy wasn't accidental. It was survival. Hoseok has talked about how dance was his escape, his way to stay optimistic in moments when life felt uncertain. When he joined Big Hit, he entered as a dancer, not a rapper. Singing wasn't his strength. Rapping wasn't even part of the plan. But BTS needed balance. And Hoseok, once again, adapted. He taught himself rap from scratch, studying flow, breath control, lyric delivery, learning how to translate rhythm from feet to words. This transition was brutal. Imagine being excellent at one thing, then voluntarily becoming a beginner again. Before fame, Hoseok struggled with self-doubt more than people realize. He worried his bright personality would be misunderstood. He worried he wouldn't fit the serious image of hip-hop. And yet, instead of suppressing who he was, he doubled down on it. He chose hope, literally and artistically. The name J-Hope wasn't just branding. It was a declaration. Before fame, he decided that if the industry was dark, he would be light. If the journey was painful, he would bring energy. And that decision changed BTS forever. Because behind the smile was discipline forged on street corners, resilience built through constant adaptation, and courage strong enough to stay joyful even when things were uncertain. J-Hope's pre-fame life wasn't easy, flashy, or safe. It was loud, physical, exhausting, and honest. And that's why his presence today feels so powerful. He doesn't just perform happiness. He earned it. Before the world knew J-Hope as BTS's energy core, Young Hoseok was already fighting a quiet battle, one fought with bruised knees, cracked confidence, and music blasting from speakers that didn't belong to him. His life before fame wasn't wrapped in glamour or certainty. It was built on repetition, on showing up, on dancing even when no one promised a future. Growing up in Gwangju, Hoseok didn't have industry connections or a polished idol path waiting for him. What he had was rhythm and an instinctive understanding of groove that came from hours spent studying the foundations of hip-hop culture. He learned popping, locking, freestyle, not from textbooks, but from watching, copying, failing, and trying again. In street dance, mistakes are public. You don't hide behind edits or retakes. That environment shaped Hoseok's mindset early. Confidence isn't something you feel first. It's something you perform until it becomes real. As part of the Neuron crew, he competed, practiced endlessly, and earned respect step by step. Respect mattered more than trophies. It meant you belonged. But even as his dance reputation grew, Hoseok faced a bigger decision: stay where he was known, or risk everything for something uncertain. Choosing Big Hit meant starting over. From respected street dancer to trainee, with gaps everywhere else. His vocals were weak. His rap was non-existent. And worse, his natural brightness made him worry he wouldn't be taken seriously in a hip-hop rooted group. Before fame, Hoseok questioned himself constantly. Was he too cheerful? Too expressive? Too different? Those doubts hit hardest at night, after practice rooms emptied and reality settled in. Yet instead of changing his personality, he sharpened it. He trained like someone who knew he had no backup plan. He studied rap as if decoding a new language, turning beats into syllables, learning to attack rhythm with words the same way he attacked it with his feet. The pressure was intense. There were moments when he felt invisible next to louder talents, moments when he wondered if optimism could survive an industry built on criticism. But this is where Hoseok did something rare. He made a conscious choice to protect his joy. Not fake happiness. Real, stubborn joy. The kind that keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Before fame, J-Hope wasn't smiling because life was easy. He smiled because giving up felt worse. That choice became his identity. When BTS finally debuted, his brightness wasn't decoration. It was structure. It balanced darkness. It carried morale. It kept the group breathing during exhausting years. And when you look back, it all makes sense. A street dancer who learned survival through movement, who transformed pressure into positivity, who understood that hope isn't something you wait for, it's something you practice daily. That's why number 3 is so unique. Jhope didn't just bring talent into BTS before fame. He brought emotional oxygen. Number 2, Suga, the underground ghost who bet everything on music. Before Suga became the calm, sharp-tongued genius behind BTS's sound, before his name was associated with charts, awards, and producer credits, Min Yoongi was living a life that felt heavy, quiet, and brutally real. This is not a glamorous pre-fame story. This is a survival story. Growing up in Daegu, Yoongi didn't come from comfort or connections. His family struggled financially, and music wasn't seen as a dream. It was seen as a risk, almost a rebellion. While other kids planned stable futures, Yoongi locked himself in small rooms with second-hand equipment, teaching himself how to make beats because he couldn't afford lessons. He didn't start as an idol. He started as an underground producer, selling beats anonymously for barely enough money to eat. Before fame, Yoongi lived like a ghost in the hip-hop scene, known by aliases, respected for his skill but invisible to the mainstream. He worked part-time jobs to support his music habit, sometimes choosing studio time over meals. There were nights he slept on floors, days he questioned whether passion alone could keep him alive. And then came the injury, the one that almost ended everything. While delivering food on a scooter to make money, Yoongi was hit by a car and severely injured his shoulder. The pain was constant. The damage was real. But he hid it. For years. Because admitting weakness felt like surrender. Before fame, Yoongi carried physical pain and emotional isolation at the same time. He didn't smile much. He didn't talk much. He observed, analyzed, and wrote. Music was his diary, his confession booth, his therapy. When he joined Big Hit, he didn't come as a typical trainee. He was promised a producer role, not an idol position. Dancing felt unnatural. Performing felt uncomfortable. But circumstances changed, and Yoongi once again adapted. Quietly, without complaints. He trained even when his shoulder screamed. He learned choreography not to shine but to survive. Before fame, Yoongi doubted the industry, doubted success, doubted happiness itself. And yet, he never doubted music. That's the difference. Even at his lowest, he believed sound could save him. That belief became the backbone of BTS's authenticity. His lyrics weren't imagined pain. They were documented reality. His calm demeanor wasn't laziness. It was exhaustion earned through years of struggle. Before the world listened, Yoongi had already said everything in silence. And that's why when he speaks now, people feel it. Number 2 isn't flashy. It isn't loud. It's heavy. Because Suga didn't chase fame before BTS. He survived long enough for fame to find him. Before Suga became the composed, almost stoic force within BTS, before his quiet words carried weight across global stages, Min Yoongi lived a life that felt more like endurance than youth. His world before fame wasn't colorful or hopeful. It was gray, narrow, and brutally honest. Growing up in Daegu, Yoongi discovered music not as entertainment, but as refuge. Hip-hop didn't just sound good to him. It spoke truths he couldn't say out loud. While others saw music as a hobby, Yoongi treated it like oxygen. He taught himself how to compose, how to layer sounds, how to turn emotion into beats using outdated computers and cheap equipment, because that was all he had. There were no mentors holding his hand, no safety net if things failed. His parents wanted stability for him, something secure, something practical. Music felt like a threat to survival, not a solution. That tension followed him everywhere. Before fame, Yoongi lived with constant guilt. Guilt for chasing a dream his family didn't believe in. Guilt for choosing passion over predictability. To fund his obsession, he worked endless part-time jobs. Delivery driver, convenience store shifts, anything that allowed him to afford studio time. Many nights, he chose beats over food. He sold compositions anonymously, watching other people profit from his work while his own name stayed hidden. That anonymity shaped him. He learned early that recognition is optional, but honesty in art is not. And then came the accident, the moment that could have erased everything. While delivering food on a scooter, Yoongi was hit by a car, severely injuring his shoulder. The pain was immediate and lasting. But he didn't stop. He couldn't afford to. He hid the injury, ignored the damage, convinced himself pain was temporary and dreams were fragile. Before fame, Jungkook lived with chronic pain in silence, believing suffering was simply part of the cost. When he joined Big Hit, he didn't arrive with idle dreams. He was recruited as a producer. Behind the scenes, away from cameras, dancing felt unnatural. Smiling on cue felt fake. The idol system conflicted with everything underground hip-hop had taught him. But again, he adapted, not because he loved it, but because quitting wasn't an option. He trained his body while protecting a damaged shoulder. He learned choreography while questioning whether he belonged on stage at all. His personality didn't change. He stayed quiet, observant, emotionally guarded. But internally, he was absorbing everything. Before fame, Jungkook wasn't chasing applause. He was documenting reality. His lyrics became raw reflections of doubt, anger, exhaustion, and survival. That authenticity became BTS's emotional spine. He spoke for people who felt unseen, unheard, and tired of pretending everything was fine. Even today, that comes from his pre-fame life. From being invisible. From betting everything on music when logic said don't. Number 2 hurts because it's real. Because Suga didn't rise from hope, he rose from necessity. And that's why his voice carries truth instead of noise. Number 1, RM, the genius leader who almost chose a different life. Before RM became the brain, backbone, and philosophical compass of BTS, Kim Namjoon was standing at a crossroads that could have erased BTS before it even existed. His life before fame wasn't about chasing stages. It was about intellect, pressure, and rebellion in silence. Namjoon was that kid. The one teachers talked about. The one parents compared their children to. With an IQ reportedly around 148, he ranked at the top of his class, especially in English and academics. His future looked crystal clear. Elite university, stable career, respect, safety. Music wasn't part of the plan. In fact, for a long time, it was the problem. Hip-hop entered Namjoon's life like a quiet revolution. He discovered rap not as entertainment, but as language, raw, honest, confrontational. He taught himself English by reading lyrics, interviews, and translating verses line by line. Before fame, Namjoon was already writing deeply personal bars under the underground name Runch Randa, performing in small venues, ciphers, and cramped spaces where skill mattered more than image. He wasn't polished. He wasn't confident. He was searching. And that search put him in direct conflict with his family. His parents wanted security. Rap looked like rebellion, instability, failure. At one point, they even destroyed his music equipment, hoping it would end the obsession. It didn't. It sharpened it. Namjoon began living 2 lives, model student by day, underground rapper by night. That tension built something dangerous and powerful inside him. Self-awareness. He questioned everything. Success. Identity. Expectations. When Big Hit found him, it wasn't because he fit idol standards. It was because he had something rare, voice and vision. He became the first BTS member, the axis around which the group was built. But before fame, leadership wasn't a title. It was a burden. Namjoon was young, unsure, and suddenly responsible for holding a group together while still figuring himself out. He struggled with self-doubt, with criticism, with the pressure of being the smart one who couldn't afford mistakes. English interviews. Lead speeches. He carried it all. Before fame, RM constantly questioned whether choosing music was selfish, whether abandoning a guaranteed future was foolish. And yet he stayed. He read endlessly. He wrote obsessively. He thought deeply. His lyrics became a bridge between intellect and emotion, turning BTS into something more than idols, into storytellers. Everything people admire about RM today was forged before fame. The curiosity, the humility, the honesty, the willingness to admit growth. He didn't become a leader because he wanted power. He became one because he understood responsibility. Number 1 matters because if Namjoon had chosen safety over passion, BTS wouldn't exist. His pre-fame life wasn't flashy or tragic. It was heavy with choice. And he chose uncertainty. He chose art. He chose 7 paths instead of one. And the world felt the impact.